What's up, everybody? TFK Ethan here with my Yosenju deck profile. Yosenjus are an incredibly awesome deck, I feel. Almost every single person I talk to absolutely hates Yosenjus, and it's because Yosenjus are probably some of the most broken cards in the deck, or in the game, and they have yet to get hit. So, as we all know, the current ban list came out and killed Shadal's, messed up Tellers, hit BA a little bit, but not too bad. Turbo Towers is dead, so this might be a good deck for everyone to pick up and build, because it's really awesome and it'll do really well, I feel, in this next current meta. So keep in mind, this deck isn't 100% complete. My mail was supposed to be in today, but it didn't show up yet today, and I told everybody that I would get my Yosenju deck profile done. So anyway, let's just get into it, and we'll go from there. Anyway, we got a 40 card main deck and a 12 card side, but we don't use that a whole bunch, so we'll just get into the main. So first of all, we have 3 copies of Yosenju, comma 1. You have 3 copies of all Yosenjus, comma 1, comma 2, comma 3, and Yosenju, comma Suchek. So now these guys all play off each other incredibly well. So Yosenju, comma 1, he's your bouncer. He is going to bounce your a 1 face-up monster your opponent controls back to their hand, which is awful, especially if it's a big monster or whatever, just terrible. Comma 2 works really well. It can attack your opponent directly for half damage if they have a monster on the field. So it has 18, originally cut it down 900, and then you can use Suchek, Yosenju Suchek's effect, and it gets almost like an honest effect. You can have comma 2 gain 1,000 attack points, so it's up to 1,900. So that works really nice. And lastly, comma 3 is your searcher. So if he's on the field and any other Yosenju card does damage, you can search out one Yosenju monster from your deck. Or not, doesn't have to be a monster, one Yosenju card, including spell and trap and everything else. So those are the main Yosenju lineup cards. Next we have 2 copies of Yosenju Sinchu L, I guess is how you would say that. He's the pendulum. I don't use the pendulum for the pendulum scale, obviously, because these are all rank 4 monsters. But his pendulum effect is if another Yosenju monster or another monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effects, you can destroy this card instead. So I do have 2 copies of that. Comes in really handy, and it, like I said, it just helps to protect your other Yosenju monsters, especially comma 1 and comma 2, because those are kind of the main cards. And then I do main 1 copy of Effect Veiler, just to keep your opponent honest. So 1 copy of Effect Veiler seems to work pretty well. Now into some magic card, or spell cards. First off, we have, and these are going to go away as soon as my other cards get away. Get here is a 3 copies of the trap card Threatening Roar. But for now, we have Divine Wind of Mist Valley, Swords of Revealing Light, and Book of Moon. So obviously, this deck, all your cards return back to hand in your end phase, so you want to keep your opponent from attacking, which is where Swords comes in handy. Book of Moon for obvious reasons, and Divine Winds will allow you to, if a wind monster returns to hand, it allows you to special summon a monster. So this doesn't really work with the strategy of the deck that well, other than maybe putting 1 monster out so you don't take a full beating. Like I said, these cards are going away as soon as my Threatening Roars get here. So obviously, if you're going to build this deck, sub these 3 cards out for Threatening Roar. Next, we have 3 copies of Pot of Duality, and Duality is really awesome in this game because you need to have comma 1, comma 2, comma 3, and Yosenju Suchek in your hand at all times, because that's the whole main strategy. So 3 copies of Pot of Duality. And I also found that Magical Mallet seems to come into effect pretty well. I either use it right away in the beginning of the game or right at the end, as, you know, like if you're really struggling and you're about to take a beating, you know, Magical Mallet and hope you get your last comma 1 or or something along those lines. So that seems to work really well. We have 2 copies of MSTs. You really should run 3, but I'm just shy 1 at the moment. So I have 1 copy of Twister, which doesn't do exactly what MST does. Twister, you can destroy 1 face-up spell or trap card at the cost of 500 life points. So this works really well if your opponent activates Skill Drain, because Skill Drain will totally just kill this deck. But Twister seems to work well enough for now, just because I don't have another copy of MST. Double Dark Hole, which also essentially works as a Raigeki, because your monsters are very rarely ever left on the field unless for some reason you special summon them. Then they won't get their effects and they'll stay on the field. So Dark Hole obviously keeps your opponent's monsters clean and very rarely has effect on your cards. And I'm also waiting on 1 copy of Fire Formation Tenki. Tenki allows you to search for 1 Beast Warrior type monster, level 4 or less, and adds 100 points to all Beast Warrior type monsters. So this in combo with Kamatu and Suchik makes it so Kamatu can attack for 2,000 directly. So works really nice when you're going for game, definitely. And then the next 2, we have Defissure and Soul Absorption. Defissure, obviously, because tons of things fire from the grave, like Burning Abyss, which Burning Abyss did take a beating in the last ban list, but it's not down and out yet. So Defissure is really good in this deck. Soul Absorption, because you're going to be wide open for attacks and whatnot. So anytime something gets banished from your side of the field or your opponent's, you gain 500 life points. That's also where Macrocosmos comes into effect, because Macro doesn't banish just magic cards, or it banishes everything, magic and or spell and trap and monster cards. So Macro works really well. And then we have a few more. We have Vanities, Solemn, Torrential, and 1 copy of Scrap Iron Scarecrow. So obviously these are all pretty self-explanatory. Scrap Iron, it's face down on the field, flip it to negate 1 attack, and then after that, immediately after it resolves, it flips back face down. You can only use it once per turn, and it's just a good out to being attacked. And then one of the best cards in the deck is Yosenju's Secret Move. Now, Secret Move, if any one of your, when a spell card or a monster effect is activated, spell or trap or monster effect is activated, while you control a Yosenju card, all face-up monsters you control now become Yosenjus, and you negate the activation and destroy your opponent's card that they tried to activate. So really, really awesome card in this deck, and it's really great that it's at 3 copies. And it's a Yosenju card, so it is searchable by Yosenju, 3. So that's really awesome, really, really good card to have. If you don't have 3 copies, the deck doesn't work as well as it should. So that's the 40-card main deck. And as I said, we're going to get into the special deck, or the extra deck, but you go into it very, very rarely. About the only time you need to go into it is if maybe you're going to Cowboy for game, because that's just classic move. Cowboy for game, or worst case scenario, you need Castell, or maybe number 101. You know, those are about the only 3 cards that I've ever gone into in this deck, just because they're really great staple cards. Now, I do have other cards in there, like Abyss Dweller and number 101 or 103, just because, like I said, Burning Abyss is not down and out yet, and those are really good outs to Burning Abyss. And a couple of the other ones that have come in handy with other rank 4 decks that I play, or level 4 decks that I play, is Deltaros, number 39, number 58, number 80, 18, Dark Rebellion, and Gem Knight Pearl. Those are just common staple rank 4s. But like I said, the only 3 that you really need is Cowboy, Castell, Abyss Dweller, and depending on how BA Burning Abyss is at your locals, maybe 103 and Abyss Dweller. I mean, so really you can play this deck with 5 Xyz monsters, but as I said, you really don't need it all that much. I go into it very, very rarely. So that's my Yosenju build. I feel that it's going to be pretty decent in the coming format as of the 8th, this Friday, I believe it is. So, like I said, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. If there's something you guys want to see, then let me know in the comments below, and we'll go and I'll see if I can get that deck made for you guys. Anyway, have a good one, fellas.